Hey guys, so today I was going through my Instagram feed and I came an interesting story today, and I just felt like the need to talk about it. So the story is actually about an amendment that was done to the Central Banking Act early last month in December 2021. So Lord knows I actually really hate talking about politics and stuff like that, but if I feel that it will have an impact on my livelihood sooner or later, then I just feel like I need to talk about it. So before I can explain why I feel the amendment is actually very scary and it's very dangerous for the PNG economy, I first need to explain a few background on what the Central Banking Act is. So before I can proceed, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Daryl Kulu. Thank you for actually assisting me with this, because I was actually a bit confused in some areas, and he actually assisted me with explaining a couple of things. So first of all, the Central Banking Act is a 47-page document that was certified on the 20th of April in 2000. It was actually proposed by the late Sir Mekere and backed by Sir Julius Chen and the late Sir Michael Sumare. So if you didn't know, Sir Mekere the late Sir Mekere was actually an economist by profession. So he basically understood the nature of international financial systems and the importance of strong regulations to enhance the stability of the Kenya currency. So basically that's the reason why the central bank was actually built, to become an independent institution. So just like any other central banks, the key role of the Bank of Papua New Guinea was to conduct monetary policies through controlling inflation and also help with managing economic fluctuations. Now, the bill for the amendment to the Act was actually proposed by the current Minister for Treasury, which is Ian Ling Staki, back in September 2021. So just last month, it was actually unanimously passed by the government. So he actually stated that the reason why he had proposed this was because it was a way to reform the process of modernizing BPNG in improving its governance, accountability, and independence. Now, for the life of me, I actually don't know what those amendments are. I actually did my research and stuff like that, but I basically couldn't find anything about what exact amendments were done to the Central Banking Act 2000. But based on little readings I've done here and there, I can just pick out tiny details or sections of the act where changes have been done. If I can further proceed, also, I feel that I need to agree with the Trade Union Congress by saying that Ian Ling Staki has done a pretty bad job as the Minister for Treasury. He's been, I think that he's generally not suited for the position, and I think he should be sacked. Now, one of the ministers who has agreed, or who has publicly agreed with the Minister for Treasury is Sir John Pundari. So Sir John Pundari is currently the Minister for Finance and Rural Development, and here's what he has to say. The amendments improve accountability and transparency, entrusting responsibility of the central bank to a committee rather than a single person. So by a single person is referring to the governor of BPNG, bringing more balance and confidence to our monetary policy. However, Isaac Lupari, the former chief secretary to the government, had this to say. The amendments strike at the heart of good governance and financial management. The government has removed key mechanisms that protect the integrity of our monetary system and independence of the bank. Isaac Lupari has also stated that the government has already eroded the power of the bank through amendments made in September 2020 by increasing the threshold of government access to foreign reserves. So this was an amendment done to Section 55 of the Central Banking Act. If you read through that, then you can actually see where the amendments were done. But those amendments can also be obtained from the internet. So if you just go onto Google and type in Central Banking Act, amendment. I think that's like the latest amendment that's made open to the general public. So when the amendments to the act was actually passed in Parliament, this actually led to the former governor of BPNG to be removed from his current position, Roy Bakani, and which also persuaded the National Executive Council to appoint Mr. Benny Popotai to be the acting governor of BPNG for the next 6 months. So this actually made Roy Bakani pretty agitated. So I believe there's currently a court case going on between Bakani's legal team and the government. So this is actually a few things that one of the representatives from Bakani's legal team had to say about the entire arrangement. Which they're referring to the transitional issues in the act, they were never discussed during the review period. Basically, the amendments was taking BPNG back to pre-2000 era of political influence and control at the expense of central bank independence and its operations. They also stated that the good reforms put in place in 2000 were now being dismantled by those amendments. Example, the board is now appointed by the National Executive Council without clear decision making, and the governor's term now falls within the 5-year political cycle. So like I said, I actually have no idea what amendments were done to the act, but based from what one of the representatives from Bakani's legal team had actually stated to the media, it actually looks like there were amendments done to sections 15 and 27 or 29 of the Central Banking Act. So if you actually go through that, that act is actually available on the BPNG site for the general public. So if you had to actually go through that, then you can actually see that yeah, there were, I think that there were amendments done to section 15 and 27, or probably 29. So the reason why I think this is very, very scary, and why I think a lot of people should start taking note of this, is because when the independence of the central bank of any country is compromised or taken away, then it can actually cause some very, very serious economic issues. For example, if a country is way in debt, and if the government succumbs to pressure, they can actually command the central bank to print out more paper notes or more money than what should be circulated around the country, right? So this can eventually lead to inflation. If inflation is basically when the process of when goods and services go up while the value of the currency being used goes down. Example of a country like this is actually Zimbabwe. Back in 2008, I believe, Robert Mugabe had actually instructed the central bank to print out more paper notes and all that, which led to an inflation that increased all the way to over 1,000% or something. So yeah, that actually led to a high inflation, and Zimbabwean dollars is actually pretty worthless at the moment. So like about 1 USD is equivalent to 300 plus Zimbabwean dollars, I believe. Another country like this is Venezuela. So Venezuela actually went through the same process as Zimbabwe, and like currently I believe 1 USD is equivalent to probably 400,000 plus Venezuelan bolivar. So yeah, it's actually pretty bad. Yeah, so basically this video was to give like a brief overview of what the amendment to the Central Banking Act was. Like I said, I actually don't know what amendments were actually done or what sections of the act were actually amended, but I think it's very, very scary, and it's something that we all need to take note of and be serious about. But like I said, it comes to a point where you just feel that you can't blame the government anymore, because even though the government are doing all this screw ups and mess ups and all that, we are also allowing it to happen, right? We choose to be blind, even though we really didn't newspapers and all that, and read it in headlines and all that. So then again, it doesn't. Well, to some extent, it does come down to us and all that. So I think it's something that we really need to take note of, and it's something that we need to really speak up about. So yeah, that's just basically it for tonight's video. Peace.